So now that we are in the blocks editor, we want to start by adding the different actions that the pieces will perform. So we want to start with the start button. We want to set what happens when the start button is clicked. So we'll go to start button.click, and this will perform the actions here whenever the start button is clicked. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to set the color of the ball to green. So we'll click on ball and we'll scroll down to where it says set ball paint color, and we'll drag the color that we want to right here. So we'll go over to colors, we'll click green and drag green into set ball paint color, and this will set the ball's paint color to green. The next thing we want to do is we want the ball to start in the middle of the screen, and so we want to set the X and Y value for the ball to where the middle of the screen is. So we define in ball, go down to set X and Y, so set X, and let's go ahead and get set ball Y. There it is. And now we want to go and set them to a number, and we can find numbers in math. And you'll click on this block with a 0 in it. And now we can click on 0 and we can set the number. So we want to set this number to 150, and 150 is how many pixels to the right. So this will be 150 pixels to the right, which is the middle of the screen horizontally. And then we want to do the same for the Y. And we want to set this one to 200 because that's about halfway down. So now the ball is set to the middle of the screen when the button's clicked. The next thing we want to do is we want to set the ball's heading, and the heading is the direction that it will be moving. So we want to make sure the ball, when it starts moving up and then bounces and comes back down. So we want to go to ball, scroll down to set ball heading, and we want it to be a random number from a certain range of values. So we want to go to math and do random integer from 1 to 100. And now we want to set the ball's heading to anywhere between, or anywhere that goes up from the ball, kind of like in a V shape. And so the way that this heading works is 0 is right, and then 90, like 90 degrees, is up, and then 180 degrees would be left, and 270 would be down, and 360 again would be right all over again. And so halfway between 0 and 90, if we had a circle, would be 45. So we want to go from 45, which is this direction, to 135, which would be this direction. So we'll click this one. We want this to be 45 and this one to be 135. And this will set the ball's heading to a random value between 45 degrees and 135 degrees. And so the next step is that we want to set the speed of the ball. And so we'll go to ball, and set the speed. And we'll use a number again in math. I can drag this. We'll set the speed to 10, which means that it will move 10 pixels every time the screen is updated, the ball is updated. And so now we want to set how often the ball is updated. So we'll go click on ball again, scroll down to set ball interval. And the ball interval is the number of milliseconds between the times that the ball is updated. So we want to click on math and set this to 10. And this sets that every 10 milliseconds the ball's speed, or the balls will change position by 10 pixels in the direction that it's moving. And 1 millisecond is a thousandth of a second. So 1,000 milliseconds makes 1 second. So this means that every hundredth of a second the ball will move 10 pixels in the direction that it's moving. And the last thing we want to do for this start button is we want to enable the ball so that all these things work. So we'll click ball and then set ball enabled. We want this to be true because we want it to be enabled. So we'll go to logic, click true, and we will set ball enabled to true.